Luna fell to $31,
a stable coin called Terra
decline.
has
They're also
totally
going to talk more about that.
The really unfortunate thing here is
stable
that
coins may not be so stable
many
after all.
$40 billion. That's not a typo. $40 billion. Gone in 72 hours. Not stolen by hackers. Not lost in a stock market crash. Just gone. And the man who caused it? He was on his phone, posting on Twitter, telling everyone to calm down. This is the story of Kwon, the man who convinced the world he could reinvent money, and then watched it all burn. To understand what happened, you need to understand who Kwon was, not who he became, who he was. Born in South Korea in 1991, brilliant student, obsessed with computers, got into Stanford University, one of the most elite schools in the world. Interned at Apple, interned at Microsoft. This was not some guy running a scam from his basement. This was the real deal. By his late 20s, he had already started 2 companies, but Kwon had bigger dreams than Silicon Valley. He wanted to change the way money worked globally. So in 2018, he moved to Singapore and built something he called Terraform Labs. Here's the idea, and stay with me because this matters. You know how a US dollar is always worth a dollar? A dollar today is still worth a dollar tomorrow. Kwon wanted to create a digital version of that, a cryptocurrency called Terra USD that would always be worth exactly $1. No banks, no government, no middlemen, just math, just code, just Kwon's genius. And people believed him. By 2021, his connected coin called Luna had gone up 15,000%. If you had put in $1,000, you had $150,000. His entire system had grown to $60 billion. He was on magazine covers, speaking at packed conferences, 700,000 followers on Twitter. He called his fans lunatics, and they loved it. He was 30 years old, worth billions, and completely untouchable.
It's a cycle of life. You begin from nothing and go back to nothing. And that's exactly where I want to be. So I think Terra is going to be the decentralized money standard across the entire blockchain, across all the blockchains. And I'm excited for Terraform Labs to contribute a significant portion of that early vision, but eventually to go back to nothing.
Right.
Yeah. Excited.
Or so everyone thought. Here's the thing about Kwon's system. It had a fatal flaw. Imagine a coin that's supposed to always be worth $1. Now imagine millions of people all try to sell it at the same time. The system starts printing more coins to buy it back and keep the price at $1. But the more coins get printed, the less each one is worth. And the less they're worth, the harder it is to hold that $1 value, so it prints even more, which makes them worth even less, which makes the price drop even further. It's a death spiral, like a plane with no parachute. Critics had been warning about this for years. Kwon's response? "I don't debate the poor." That's a real quote from the man holding $60 billion of other people's money.
A lot of people have talked about the hubris and arrogance of your tweets during the time that Terra was on the upswing. And you later said of these tweets that you had developed an entertaining alter ego. Do you feel any remorse for your cocky tone during that time?
So I think I got too much carried away with interacting with other people on crypto Twitter. So like the industry lingo for this is called shitposting, right? So I think in retrospect, I should have held myself to a sort of a more stringent standard. So, just because there's anonymous cartoon characters that are, shall we say, more liberal with the words that they're using, does not mean that I should have followed suit.
But here's the part that changes everything. In May 2021, a full year before the collapse, his system actually did start to break, quietly, behind the scenes. A trading firm secretly spent over $20 million to buy everything up and push the price back to $1. The crisis was hidden. Investors never knew. And in private, Kwon admitted to a colleague, if they hadn't stepped in, we might have been finished. But publicly, he said nothing. He just kept selling the dream. In January 2022, he raised $3 billion from investors, telling them it would be used to protect the system. He also told people his payments app was running on his technology. Millions of users, real transactions, real money. It wasn't. The transactions were fake. He was manufacturing the illusion of success. The whole empire, $60 billion, was built on a lie. May 7th, 2022, someone starts selling massively, hundreds of millions of dollars worth. In minutes, the price starts to crack. People panic. They rush to sell. The system tries to fix itself, printing more coins. The price crashes harder. More coins get printed. They become nearly worthless. The death spiral had begun.
And in any kind of meaningful market contraction, just the way that this was structured, it could face a death spiral. And so that's exactly what we saw. We saw a massive death spiral. And I think the really unfortunate thing here is that so many individuals so many leaders, frankly, and very intelligent people bought the hype, promoted the hype, and I think that's hurt people.
Kwon watched it happen in real time. His response on Twitter? Deploying more capital, steady lads. He was trying to sound calm, in control. He wasn't. The $3 billion reserve he'd raised to protect everything, gone in 48 hours. By May 9th, Luna had lost 96% of its value. By May 12th, it was zero. People woke up and their life savings were gone. Not down 50%, not down 80%, zero. A father in South Korea had put his daughter's entire college fund into Luna. A nurse in the US had invested her retirement savings. A man in Singapore lost $2 million overnight. The suicide hotlines in South Korea were overwhelmed, and it didn't stop there. The collapse triggered a chain reaction across the entire financial world. A major lending platform froze all withdrawals, then went bankrupt. A $1 billion crypto hedge fund collapsed overnight. Bitcoin itself, the most famous cryptocurrency in the world, crashed from $47,000 all the way down to $16,000, all of it. Triggered by one man's lie, $40 billion evaporated. And where was Kwon? While millions of people were losing everything, he was running. South Korean prosecutors filed criminal charges in September 2022. He was already gone. For months, nobody knew where he was. Every country on alert. A global manhunt. Then, March 2023, airport security in Montenegro stopped a man trying to board a flight to Dubai. His passport said he was from Costa Rica. It was Kwon, with a completely fake passport.
A cryptocurrency entrepreneur has been arrested in Montenegro. Interpol announced the arrest of Kwon, the founder of two cryptocurrencies, Terra USD and Luna. Kwon Do-hyung, commonly known as Do Kwon, is a South Korean citizen. Terra USD and Luna cryptocurrencies both crashed in May 2022. Their demise caused a market drop of about $40 billion in a matter of days. The value of Terra USD was below 1 penny.
He was arrested on the spot, locked up in a Montenegrin prison, but both the United States and South Korea wanted him. A legal battle over who would prosecute him dragged on for nearly 2 years. Finally, on the very last day of 2024, New Year's Eve, Kwon arrived in New York in handcuffs. 8 months later, he stood in a Manhattan courtroom. The man who once said, "I don't debate the poor," looked at the judge and said, "What I did was wrong. I want to apologize. I take full responsibility." The judge stared back at him. "You chose the path of fraud," he said. "This was fraud on an epic generational scale." Kwon was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison.
The Terraform Labs co-founder and former fugitive Do Kwon has been sentenced to 15 years in prison for his role in the $40 billion collapse of the Terra USD stablecoin and Luna token back in 2022. It was one of crypto's largest ever failures. The judge called it a fraud on an epic generational scale.
$40 billion. Not from banks, not from hedge funds, from regular people. People who believed that a 30-year-old genius had finally figured out how to make money safe. He hadn't. He built the most convincing illusion in crypto history. And when it started to crack, he didn't warn anyone. He ran. Do Kwon will be in prison until his mid-40s. The victims will spend the rest of their lives trying to rebuild what he took from them. Some never will. This is The Fallen Fortunes. Real stories, real money, real consequences. Subscribe, because this is just the beginning.